Yeah, it's about that time of day again here, boys and girls. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. My name is Joseph James for your newsletter for Wednesday evening, September 24th, 2014. We are cruising through the fourth month, or the fourth week, I should say, of the month of September. It's been a fantastic week so far. I hope you guys used some of those levels we gave you last night. We nailed that inventory trade on crude. Awesome job on crude today. Before the Russell took off in the afternoon, right, we got the short on the Russell. Awesome call on the Russell. And same thing on gold, right? We were 3 for 3 today. Towards the end of the session, though, E-minis took off. Blame it on whatever you want, but a very, very good day today in the markets. Hope you guys had a great Wednesday. It was inventory day on crude. Gold pushed lower. Russell ticked lower. Barely made a lower low before reversing. We're going to talk about all that stuff here this evening. I got a jam-packed edition of our nightly newsletter in store for you guys and gals. Can't wait to get into it. But before we jump into today's charts, I do want to remind you guys, make sure you're watching this video over at sidewaysmarkets.com. Get over to our trading blog. If you're watching this video on our YouTube page right now, there's a link below the video. And there are 3 important reasons why you got to get over to sidewaysmarkets.com. The first one is you can download all of the charts I'm using today by following that link right below the video. Right? So all these charts that I work on every day, you can download them and have them ready with you tomorrow morning in my trade room or wherever you're going to be trading tomorrow. So download a copy of the charts below the video today. Second thing, upper left-hand corner, I have a free pass for anyone who is not a member yet of School of Trade but would like to see what it feels like, how we use these levels in our live trade room. I have a special invitation for you guys to attend our live trade room, and I got a free pass for you in the upper left-hand corner. Lower left-hand corner, third thing, right above my mug, you'll see, of course, a spot for your name and your email address. You can register to be a part of our nightly newsletter email list, all right? Make sure you guys join that. Now, if you register for the free pass or you register for our nightly newsletter mailing list, please make sure that you check your email. I'm going to send you a verification email to make sure that you are not a robot, all right? Double check your email there to make sure you get the verification from me, all right? Download the charts for today. Grab your free pass, and don't forget to register for the nightly newsletter. That way you always get an email from me. Capiche? All right. Let's rock and roll here today, starting out with the mighty mini Russell. Now, again, all the newspapers are talking about rebound in the equity markets, but that was after we made our money today selling short. Take a look at this chart, 64 anchor. Let's go right on through it. You know the drill. What's my trend? Where's my setup? Where's my entry pattern? First of all, what's my trend right now in the Russell? Trend right now is going to be short here, right? We got a bearish trend on the Russell. How do I know? I've got my 3 clues. First of all, lower lows, lower highs. I've got red clouds. I'm below all the clouds. We're clearly bearish here on the Russell. I know what direction I want to be trading in, but where can I find a setup? Well, of course, I don't want to be selling down here. Nobody wants to sell at a premium, right? Or should I say, nobody wants to sell at a discount. As my good buddy Richard Wyckoff always told me, make sure we sell when we are overbought in a downtrend, right? You guys can learn all about Wyckoff theory, Dow theory, Gann theory as part of our beginner's course here at School of Trade. But we know, though, that right now in this downtrend, I do not want to be a seller right here. I want to wait for price to get up so I can sell it at a premium. I don't care whether I'm selling futures contracts, selling a brand new car, selling a pocket full of gold. It doesn't matter what I'm selling. I want to sell at a premium price, right? Just good business. Now, you'll notice on this anchor chart here, where are my sell setups? So where would I be looking to sell short? Well, good question. I've got a reversal line set up at 34.3, trigger zone setups at 35.3 and 50.3. In addition, I have a channel set up. Now, look closely here. I attached the lows on this chart, projected it off the high, and you'll see there is a potential for kind of a double whammy here, right? We get a channel high, the white line, and a channel high, the yellow line. So we got 2 possible channel setups here on the Russell. Keep an eye on that, right? downtrend, setup 34.3. That's going to be the easy money there. But we got some waiting to do here on the Russell, as you can see. Let's give you guys something a little bit more intimate here on the Russell, right? Maybe we don't want to wait all the way, right, until we get up there to that 34.3. You can see here, moving down from our 64 through our 32, a lot of the same stuff here. We've got that short-term channel. Again, you know the story. What's my trend? Where's my setup? Where's my entry pattern? My trend is clearly down. I've got red clouds. I'm below 2 of those clouds, right? Both are red though. Lower lows, lower highs, we're clearly bearish. Where's my sell opportunity going to be? Again, I would love to sell the top of that channel, right? That would be a great sell at the top of that channel, right? Sell the highs of a bear channel, buy the lows of a bull channel. So sell setup number 1 at the channel high. Sell setup number 2 at the 34.2. That might be 34.3, 34.2. Not a big deal, one tick. Be aware though, in that area, there's your reversal line setup. I've got a 35.2. That's going to be your trigger zone setup. As we keep going higher here, I've got 46.4, another trigger zone setup, 50.2, 56.8. All of these levels overhead are going to make for excellent selling opportunities right now on the Russell. Also, pay attention here. We got that trend line drawn at the high, right? That'll be another potential sell setup here on the Russell. We've been talking about this all week. The Russell started the week way oversold. And so with that oversold price action, we're trying to stay patient here to get those shorts, but we got to get off these lows to get the best selling opportunities here on the Russell. Almost done here with the Russell. Let's move down one more time frame here now on the Russell. Here's my 16 anchor. The 16 anchor chart is fantastic for scalpers, somebody who wants a more short-term opportunity here. And you can see right away, we are already in that sell zone here right now on the Russell. What's my trend on this chart? Yeah, this one's a little bit different, right? This one, we've got one green cloud, one red cloud. So in the short term, short term, we are bullish. But again, long term, we're still very bearish. I'm not going to start thinking about buys until we get that 64 anchor chart, right, to turn around for us, okay? So we're not quite out of the woods yet for the sellers. We're still bearish, and you can see right now I've got sell zones here at 22.1, 26.2, 29.6, and 35.2. What about some profit targets on the way down? I've got targets if we can get short in this area right here. If we can get short around this 25 to 22 area, I've got targets here at 16.7, 12.2, 06.2, and there is a big round number there at 1100. As you can see, all the way back down to that big round number at 1100. So still bearish in the long term on the Russell right now. We've got some great sell zones waiting for you guys. And again, some targets here. Now, don't forget, if you want real-time updates on this, if we go higher here overnight, these targets will all be readjusted just a little bit, all right? So if we go higher here overnight, make sure you come out and see me tomorrow morning in my trade room. I'll give you guys those updated levels as well as real-time trade calls. Let's keep going here. What do we have on this funny yellow metal they call gold? Well, again, another one of those oversold markets. We came in this week, early the week. My exact words were, stay patient, wait for this price to come up off these lows. And you can see here on the 64 anchor, we are still well oversold right now. What's my trend? Trend is down. How do I know? Lower lows, lower highs, red clouds, below all the moving averages. We are trending lower here right now. Now that I know what direction I want to be trading in, where should I be looking for entry opportunities? Well, I want to find a setup. The earliest setup will be here at 38.8. Sell setup at 38.8. Trend line setup. Depending on where we get there, right, it may be a little bit lower, right, but it looks like right around 58 or so, right, 12.58 or so there on the GC. So we know we got reversal line set up, 38.8. We've got trend line set up. We'll say 12.58 right now, but again, that may or may not be there by the time we test it. And then I've got trigger zones 78.9 and 18.9. And then again, I don't expect we get all the way here tomorrow, but that will be the top of that channel. And that would be the ideal sell, right? That would be the ideal location to get short, would be up at the top of that big bear channel. As you can see, once again on gold, very obvious to see we're trending lower. Also very clear that we are oversold, so be patient on this as it goes higher here. We may not want to wait until we get to 1278, right? We may not want to wait that long. How about we give you guys something a little more, as I said earlier, a little more intimate here on the gold, right? Here's my 32. Now, this should look very familiar if you're a gold trader because we saw this last night, right? No more than 24 hours ago, we talked about how we gave you guys this level on Monday. We talked about how we were going to stay short on that on Tuesday. I've got targets at 14.8. I've got targets at 02.6, 1193.2, and I've got one more target down here that should not be here. That is not accurate. And so those will be my targets here for us on the way down. There's not a lot of new information on this 32. Again, we called the short on Monday night. Last night on the newsletter, we talked about the fact that we're still short here on the gold, and we're waiting to get that next target at 14.8, and then we got continue targets at 2.6 and 93.2. So not much more from the 32 right now, besides the simple fact that we definitely want to stay to the sell side here on gold. But again, if you missed that short that we called on Monday night at that 1235, if you missed that, you've already missed that move. We need to go down now to the 16 anchor. Now we go to the 16. And I'm not sure if you were listening last night, but do you recall what I said last night? I said, all right, that's going to be our line in the sand. Remember what it was? It was 1221. Sure enough, we break below the line in the sand. It happened literally right at 8:30 this morning, and it was easy money selling short on gold today. Now, you can see, though, obviously, we got the short on gold. That created a short-term channel. And then we had a second. Members, you should know what I'm talking about right now. If you weren't with me, watch the recording of our trade room later on tonight, because we had two sells on gold. It was easy. We had the first one, which was simply following completely what I said last night. And then the second one lined up at the top of that channel, right, for a channel sell setup, right? So very, very easy if you follow the plan we outlined for you guys yesterday, and then we updated that information today in the trade room. What's my trend? You know how we do this, guys. Trend, setup, pattern. Trend, setup, pattern. Remember, by using rules, we don't need a lot of experience. That's why new traders find a lot of success with us here at School of Trade, right? No discretion needed. What's my trend? Trend is bearish. How do I know? Lower lows, lower highs, red clouds, below the key moving averages. Easy. Now that I know what my direction is going to be, where will I look for short selling opportunities here? Easy. 21.5, 24.5, 26.6, 32.5, 35.8, right? As you can see, quite a few options, right, for us to get short. So what we're waiting for is, if this happens to go higher here, once it finds some traction and collapses again, we'll be waiting for it, right, to get short. And we'll start looking for that. We'll start looking for that. We get the bell going off here in the background. We'll start looking for that, again, at these three areas here, right? These three areas here. Very, very easy. Now, what if you're still short from that trade earlier on today? Well, you got some good targets waiting for you here. I got to take some profit of that 14.8. We talked about that earlier, right? That's in the 32. We've also got the 12.12, and we've got the 0.88, and then dare I say, okay, we'll dare. I've got the final target down there at 1200. That's a big round number, a big psychological level there. So lots of targets waiting for us on the way down. Again, don't overcomplicate this. Turn off the television set, listen to your charts, and if the charts aren't speaking to you, what are you waiting for? Come out and see me in the trade room, right? We make sense of all this by keeping it simple and focusing on the price action. Remember, the markets we trade are an excellent aggregator of information. We don't need to listen to news media. We don't need to worry about all the variables. The price action tells me exactly what I want to be doing. And if you followed this newsletter over the past few months or the past few years or almost a decade now of doing this newsletter, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. All right? Come on, join me tomorrow in the trade room. We'll give you guys updated information on this, but you can see plenty of options there for you guys to sell short on the gold. Now, what do you think here? Should we get into the crude? Okay. Now, crude's been a little bit sloppy this week, right? But we were ready for this. If you remember, Monday was a really important day for us across the board. We found oversold markets on gold and Russell. That told us to stay patient. On crude, though, if you remember on crude oil, on Monday evening, I gave everybody a heads up that higher low was most likely going to cause this sideways range. And I'm not going to go tooting my own horn, but I'll start tooting away here for a moment because that's what led into the short on Tuesday, the buy on Wednesday, and now possibly the short on Thursday. Remember, if you're following the trend on crude, we focus on selling at these highs, right? So I wasn't buying at that low, but I'll use that low to take profit. A little bit more aggressive, you can buy that low right now. So let's take a moment to think, what's my trend right now? Well, my trend, as you can see here, is one green, one red. We call this neutral bearish. So we are neutral in the sense that we're clearly trading sideways, right? We're not getting lower lows. We're not getting lower highs. Well, we're getting lower highs, but we're getting higher lows too. So this is what we can diagnose as being neutral bearish. That tells me I want to be conservative with my trade. I want to make sure, remember, the neutral aspect tells me I'm not going to expect that big runner. Okay, the neutral part of this tells me take my profit quickly. Take my profit at levels of support below or resistance above. When I see we have a neutral trend like this, I'm not swinging for home runs. I'm going for base hits because that will put me in the Hall of Fame at the end of my career, right? So I look at neutral tells me take my money relatively quickly, but my bearish overall sentiment says focus to the sell side. And that's exactly what we've been doing all week, right? So we had to sell off the highs, nice easy trade there. I had a second chance on it early there. And again, this morning, you can't see it on this chart, but today was a great example of how we completely stroked that inventory report today. We'll see that in a moment here. But now you see, we're right there again. Here's another opportunity here, guys, 93.58 to 93.22. If you were wondering where this market was going up to today, well, that level's been there for 24 hours. So 93.22 has been there for quite a while. So we know we're looking to be a seller here at these highs right now on crude with a neutral, bearish personality right now. Let's see here. Moving from the 64 to the 32 here on crude oil, we now can see a lot more detail about this range, right? It's pretty easy to see here, right? Here is your range. And again, we've been talking about this ever since Monday night. We definitely made the right call on this trend, right? Calling it a range-bound or consolidating market. Now what we've been doing is just, right, finding our chances here to get short. And we get another one setting up right here. So we already know we're going to get short here. The next thing is where my target's at. 92.10, 91.50, 91.03. 90.25, right? 89.23. All these levels below us now. Remember, because we're in a neutral territory for our trend right now, I'm not going to go trying to hold this thing all the way to 60, right? That's what I'm talking about. When we have a neutral trend like this, I want to take my profit quickly, right? I want to stay to the downside because that long-term trend is still down. And I got targets here at 92.10. I've got a target here at 91.85, 91.03, 90.25, and 89.23. All right. I don't see us going lower, at least not tomorrow, but we may end up at least down near these lows, right, by this time tomorrow afternoon. Okay. So keep it on the short side here on crude. If we do go higher, right? If we do happen to push higher, remember we've got plenty of levels off that 64 to be using. We are not bullish here just yet, all right? Not bullish there just yet. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see if anything changes between now and tomorrow. Last but not least, though, here on the crude, we've got that 16 anchor here. Not a lot has changed on this. We've got two sell zones overhead in the 16. I've got 93.22 and this range up top here around 93.75. All right, so those are going to be the options here for us to get short. I've got two areas to get short here right now. I'm definitely looking for the short though right now of 93.22, and then as we go lower, I've got targets at 92.24. As you can see here, if you're a member of mine, you know about reversal lines. And so there are a couple different reversal lines in here that we want to kind of identify here. So that's where I got the range there, 92.24 to 91.93. So 92.24 is the first target. 91.85, 91.03, right? This is all the same stuff there from the 32. So we're sticking to the plan here right now on crude. What was really awesome about today, though, if you zoom in on this, was that we talked about this yesterday. And yesterday on the newsletter, we talked about the fact that oftentimes the news that comes out at 10:30 is often going to be the opposite of what the long-term direction was. You can see here was 10:30 right there, right? So there's 10:30. And we sat here and we watched this price jump up after the news came out. It gets up to the range highs and made for a very easy short right back down in. That's what I'm talking about when I told you guys last night, we got inventory day, let it slop around, let it do its thing. We sat on hands all morning on crude, didn't get anything moving. We see the news comes out. I don't care what the news was. The news has nothing to do with what the reaction was, right? Chaos theory. One thing does not result. There's no linear cause and effect, right? So one news event did not cause this market to go higher, right? It was the collection of all the prior events along with market personality, market sentiment at this time, and everything else coming together. So we knew that news, the reaction to the news jumps up, simple wave pattern short, wave reversal short, brings it right back down. Right, a relatively aggressive short there to get into it, but a very, very good example there today at 10:30 about how we were able to capitalize on that news using the exact same technique that I talked about last night on the newsletter. All right, guys, that wraps it up here for our prep work here for tomorrow. You've got some good strategies for you guys tomorrow. Let's wrap up here and see what we have for tomorrow's news. I have no major news on the schedule here coming out of Asia. I've got nothing here to worry about from Asia here tonight. We do, though, have some very, very important news reports tomorrow morning in Europe on Thursday, September 25th. I've got the money supply out of the EU, but I think the big news tomorrow morning in Europe is going to be this retail sales from Italy. Remember, Italy, they've recently went back into a technical recession. It's one of the larger economies in Europe. We know it's going to be important, right? We know it's going to be important here tomorrow morning. So money supply at 4 o'clock, retail sales at 4 o'clock. That should at least get the pulse moving a little bit faster tomorrow morning in the European session. So be ready for that tomorrow. I've got a minor report there from Great Britain at 6 a.m. I don't think it'll be that big of a mover, but you know what's in the schedule. And then we've got the big news tomorrow in the U.S. is going to be durable goods. Durable goods orders is one of those unappreciated news events. It really is an unsung hero. It's a great news event to watch. Durable goods orders. It's a Red Star news event. It's always going to be on Thursday, and it's going to be the last Thursday of each month. So you know that durable goods report going to be a big report for us tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. That tells me be ready tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. When we open up the room, we'll go through our morning routine quickly and be ready for the reaction at that 8:30 news. What about the jobless claims? Jobless claims are important. You know, they're a Red Star news report. But jobless claims in today's environment is just like the housing reports back in 2010. You can't really tell a good report from a bad report. And I don't think any traders right now are putting any real confidence in those jobless claims. We know that people are leaving the workforce. They're giving up on their job search. Their benefits are running out because they've been unemployed for more than a couple of years. And also, too, most full-time employees are settling for 2 or 3 part-time jobs. So this number on the jobless claims is extremely flawed. And again, I just don't think you're going to get much of a reaction to that part of the news tomorrow morning. So we're lucky to get the durable goods at 8:30. Be ready for the big report off that. We got some small news here at 9:45. If you're a natty gas trader, you got inventories tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is your Christmas for natty gas traders every Thursday morning at 10:30. Kansas City Fed, balance sheet, and then we got big news tomorrow out of Japan regarding consumer prices. All right. Remember, if you look up inflation in the dictionary, right, you see my buddy Abe from Japan, right? Inflation's a big deal in Japan. So we'll be watching that tomorrow night. We'll talk more about tomorrow night's news in tomorrow night's newsletter. All right, guys? So be ready. Nothing in Asia tonight. We got big news out of Europe tomorrow morning. But again, I would think, though, the big move will come tomorrow morning after that 8:30 durable goods orders and maybe a sniffle off the jobless claims. We'll still be watching, right, to see what happens. We are still bearish here on crude. We are still bearish here on the gold as well as the Russell today. And before I let you guys go here, I want to remind you all, get out of my members section. I want to remind you guys that if you get over here to SchoolOfTrade.com, we have a free trial on our website, right? We get a free trial on the website there at SchoolOfTrade.com. We also have 3 levels of membership, and I've got someone standing by here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Yeah, I actually never let her out of that cage. Right? Yeah, her and the guy behind him, right? And I never let them out of that cage. They're always, I'm having fun with you guys. We've got someone standing by. English is their first language, right? We'll keep you at level 1 for live support, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't forget, join the newsletter, join the free trial, download today's charts, and thank you so much for being a part of our nightly newsletter. If you have any feedback, my email address is jj@schooloftrade.com. Would love to get your feedback. What can I do better? What am I doing poorly at right now? Don't hold any punches. I want to make sure this is the best newsletter you guys have ever seen. My name is Joseph. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning back in our trade room at 8 a.m. or tomorrow evening. Same bat time, same bat channel. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.